let's go ahead and let's go jump on it. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Fab 5 campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM, and joining me around my virtual table today are Alyssa, Joe, Jeremy, Koines, and Kyle. Say hi, everyone.
Yo.
Hey, everyone.
Now, the holidays are approaching us, which means that we've only got a few episodes left in 2020 on Random Rhapsody. It's been a hell of a year, and we've had a lot of fun playing these campaigns with everybody and with all of you watching us. Our last episode of the season is going to be on December the 12th for our annual Holiday One-Shot, which is hosted this year by Briana McKnight of the Debauchery Circus. You can keep up to date on our schedule and everything we're doing by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV and on Twitter as @random_Rhapsody. Okay, that should do it for the announcements. So join us as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Fab 5. And we're back. So when we last left off, the Fab 5 had journeyed into the reclusive nation of Ilmithica, which is a small forest nation populated almost exclusively by elves. During this journey, it was revealed that Rhim had been cursed by lycanthropy during the Azure Championship Gladiator Tournament. In an effort to help him control this curse, the group agreed to participate in the Rite of Maledictus, a special ritual which can only be performed under very rare circumstances, but one that, if successful, would allow Rhim to control the beast within. Under the careful preparation of the elven priests, the team was sent into Rhim's subconscious, where they were forced to contend with the animalistic nature of the curse infecting him. The quest led them through a mystical journey, delving deep into Rhim's past, right up to the point that the drunken boxer was forced to face a lycanthropy version of his former master, Grood. And so, Fab 5. With the defeat of the Lycan spirit within Rhim, your friend was able to wrestle control of the beast and survive the ritual. As the spell ends, you all awaken to find yourselves still lying prone inside the spell circle. Once your eyes open, 5 elven priests in sheer robes approach each of you, carrying a silver bowl, which they then proceed to empty upon your faces, basically waterboarding you all with ice-cold water. But as you all sputter and choke on this fountain, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, if you were able to access the internet, what would you look into first? And Rhim, you're the one who rolled, so why don't you go ahead and answer first?
Oh, that right there would make our journey in to find everything we're looking for so much easier. All we'd have to do is go and see where the best whiskey is, and we'll travel straight to that town, all in mist form and everything. We wouldn't have to travel the whole continent, straight to one town. Best whiskey. That's all that matters.
What if you don't think it's the best whiskey?
The Zagat guide said it was good.
Well, sounds about right for Liam. Veil, how about you?
I'd definitely be on the dark web. I'll leave that to the imagination.
God. I don't even
Veil's
want
on
to think
Silk
about
Road
that.
trying to get himself something for a spell.
Probably.
You can't just get cadavers just anywhere. I mean, come on.
Okay. Eloise, you're up next.
Well, I'd probably start off like looking at cute animal photos and videos, and then end up falling down the weird, vortex that is the internet, and end up like in some weird, I don't know, fan fiction place on the internet reading some sort of fantasy novel, like Witcher fan fiction. I don't know.
Okay. Blood from a Stone, how about you?
He'd probably look up to see if his people are in this world to try and get some information on them. And he's going to be very disappointed when he just sees nothing but furry pages. He starts seeing stuff about YIF parties. He's like, what's that? He clicks on, he's fucking horrified. So yeah, he would not enjoy what he would find and just be to realize this world is fucked and no one needs to live here because his people are just, yeah. He's gonna see the worst that the furry community has to offer, and he's really gonna be disheartened.
Okay. Well,
God,
Apollyon.
I'm afraid of Apollyon's answer.
I'm looking forward to Apollyon's. Apollyon, what would you look up?
Going straight to baddragon.com. Yeah. No. Or maybe that dragon episode of Rick and Morty. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff Apollyon's into.
Definitely.
For the audience, if you don't know what a YIF party is, don't Google that.
If you don't know what Bad Dragon is, well, you might have a good time.
Yeah. Bad Dragon's not hurting any in ways they didn't want to be hurt.
I was going to say, it hurts people. What are you talking about?
When people tune in next, there are no more innocents that watch this show. It's all over.
Okay. Well,
Didn't
Fab
mean to quote that.
No worries. Well, Fab 5. I doubt any of you are able to resist the urge to sit up and fight off the icy torrent that's being poured down on you. But thanks to the lethargy that has settled deep within your muscles, none of you can do more than feebly protest while the elves empty the bowls down on your heads. It does it.
Open up my mouth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Refreshing.
Yeah, Eloise probably enjoys it pretty well. As for the rest of you, maybe not so much, but it does at the very least wash Liam's blood off of your faces from the ritual, so that's nice. Master Ohm is standing near the doors to the ritual chamber. He's deep in conversation with the elven sage who had performed the ritual. Those of you who have a 14 or higher passive perception, you can hear Ohm saying, thank you again, Sage Travanis. Thank you for the opportunity to witness a magical rite of that magnitude. It isn't often that I see something new, but I'm always grateful when I do. My notes to the conclave in this will be invaluable. The sage replies, you are very welcome, Master Ohm. Tales of your exploits have managed to reach even here in our insular nation. I'm looking forward to hearing about the results, whatever you can achieve in Syol'yn Revar. While that's going on, Liam, you are awake and sitting in the middle, the dead center of this ritual circle. How you feeling right now?
Oh, not great. So, as everybody in the group kind of witnessed in Liam's head dream realm, there was this nice, happy transition into this tiger thing that was in Liam's head. But in the real world out here, Liam screams out in pain as you hear his limbs being like forcibly pulled apart by his own muscles and then forcibly shoved back together as like all this hair just starts to grow on him and like his muscles are changing and being forced into different patterns and stuff like that. And he finally just collapses and lays down on the ground and reaches a finger up and says, I bet you never saw that before. And I am going to, because the first transformation is rough, I'm going to impose level 1 exhaustion on myself.
Oh, that's definitely fair. I was actually going to be giving all of you 1 point of exhaustion from doing this ritual and surviving it. Liam, you're going to have a second one, but that's going to be gone by the morning anyway.
Okay.
I tackle Liam.
Ow! Ow.
Big hug.
You're okay,
you're okay.
Your blood sniffing in the corner. What the oh, God, what are you now?
Oh, God, that blood, that must be disturbing. Seeing him looking like a tiger.
Yeah, this is the real thing, and that is Wish right there. I'm just going to say that, buddy. Apologize. You look good, though. I mean, I won't lie.
I don't understand. You wish you were like this?
No. You are the cheap knockoff version of my people. It's all right.
Veil, your ears peek up as you're sitting there coated in water at hearing the word wish.
Yep.
Liam slowly gets up and like starts to, do the 3D thing where he looks over his hands a couple times and checks himself out, and he does indeed have blue stripes, and the only thing that's the same is basically his hair, just that long patch of dreads back there. And he realizes real quick he's got a tail, and he probably chases it for the next minute, just figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you're doing that, Ohm kind of steps over towards you away from the sage and walks around and gives you a very thorough once over. Like, you can tell he's actually investigating your body, looking you up and down, and he slaps you hard on the back.
Of course.
Make a con saving throw.
Yeah. Oh, first roll is... Yeah, either one's terrible. That's fine. I'll take that off. 7.
You definitely wince. That hurt like hell, and you can't help but let out a little bit of a tiger growl from that.
Yeah, I'd probably take a knee. That hurt.
Yeah. Well, kid, it looks like you survived. I'm happy to see that. How are you feeling right now? For posterity, be specific.
Everything hurts, especially my back. I like that I have a tail. That's pretty interesting. I feel stronger, but it all hurts still.
Meanwhile, Eloise is just rubbing her cheek along Liam's cheek and his shoulder, just like,
Reverse cat scratch.
Yeah. Ohms leans up close to you, Liam, and he says, after you're rested, I wish to interview you.
Aye, of course, sir. Of course. Master, yes.
Well done, everybody. I'm nice to see that none of you are dead. That would have made the journey south more complicated than it necessarily needed to be. So, well done. We're not planning on leaving until tomorrow afternoon. So early afternoon, like right at 1 o'clock. So I would appreciate you please sleep in, but be ready for the journey in the morning.
I'd like to try an insight to see which of these elves is the most surprised that I survived.
Make an insight check.
At disadvantage. Holy cow, a 19.
Wow. Actually, all of them seem unsurprised whatsoever that you survived.
Really?
Yeah, the 5 of them have since then walked over to the sage, whose name, as I mentioned, is what did I say? It was Travanis, and they all seem to just be talking and kind of congratulating him on a job well done. But really, that's about it.
Congratulating him.
Yeah, like now that the ritual is complete and you seem and you're like up and about, the elves like seem to not be paying you any attention whatsoever.
I'll look to Eloise and I'll go, I thought they said no one's ever done this before. I thought they'd be more interested.
I don't know why anyone wouldn't be interested. You're a tiger person.
Well, he's not always going to be. Miss Eloise, he'll go back to being the regular old plain dopey-looking human. This is just a temporary thing.
Right, so you'll be just a little bit less jealous than you are right now. I gotcha.
Hey, I get to be this fat piss all the time, baby.
And all 3 of us have claws now, look!
Was the sage the one that had been eyeballing blood, like, every once in a while throughout the trip? Or was it...
no.
It was someone, I guess, like like one of their nerdy elves or something like that. You said it was eyeballing
Ambrosia?
No, that was the captain.
That was the captain and the ambassador. The sage, this is the first time you've ever met him. He lives here. But there was an elf that Eloise had been talking to who would occasionally side-eye you blood. Do you happen to remember his name?
No, I don't remember. I just remember somebody was... I mean, we didn't have last week. I had everything ready to go then. I wanted to confront him, but I don't remember the person's name. I mean, he would remember what he looks like.
Do you? Well, go ahead and make a perception check. See if he's still around.
18?
18. He is not in the room. He actually was when you started. He was the one that led you here. But as you're looking around now, he is not there.
Because he was the one that brought up, like, was talking and filling us in on the way about this procedure.
Correct.
Well, he'll keep an eye out for him because he does want to just kind of like side up, like maybe see if he can't sneak up on him, just kind of walk up behind him and be like, and just, tap him on the shoulder or something like that. So he'll keep an eye out for him while they're walking around.
Okay. Well, now that you're all up and moving about again, the elven priests do come to you and say that they can take you back to where your things are and you can get dressed. They each give you a blessing of Ilmentris before you leave. Basically, just wishing you well on your journey and hoping that the grace of the Mother lie with you all. Once you change, you're reunited with Ohm, who is standing there with Captain Ambrosia. Captain Ambrosia had been left outside of the temple when your group arrived. And as you all make your way out from the temple, you see Ohm sitting there talking to him. And the elf seems surprised, to be sure, but happy to hear that your group survived. And as you all make your way down, he nods to you all and says, "Oh, well, it sounds like the rite had been successful. Congratulations to you."
Yeah, congratulations to me. Why didn't you stay for the whole thing? Did it take a long time?
You say that as you look up, and it's actually quite a bit darker than what it was when you arrived. It was not quite sundown, and as you look up now, you realize it's well past midnight, close to 1 o'clock in the morning. probably why Ohm said you should sleep in. He says, unfortunately, I was not allowed to witness the ritual. There was limited space. I decided to send the rest of the guards on to the inn, and I would escort you all myself, assuming you all survived, which you have. So, again, congratulations. I'm glad to know that you are able to master the curse within you.
It's pretty cool.
As you're all making your way out, Blood, you said you want to keep your eye out for the elf. Go ahead and
keep an eye out for him.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
25. That's a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's a disadvantage. So you're making your way away from the temple and heading towards the inn where you're all staying for the evening. Blood, as you leave the temple steps and get onto the walkway, you don't see the elf that you're looking for, although there are many elves out there. But one thing you do spot, up in one of the towers of the temple, for a moment, you could have sworn you saw a hooded figure standing there, looking down at your group. Gray, green hood and cloak that swirl backwards and disappear. You just caught that flicker of moment, and that as highly perceptive as you are, you spotted it right as he was ducking back into the darkness to not be seen.
Does it look like either the cloak that Eloise described to Blood once upon a time, or is it just like the cloaks that all the elven warriors wear?
To be honest, the answer to both the questions is yes. The cloak that she has described, you were at the time you were easily able to guess that it was a cloak of elven kind, and you've been seeing the buried door. You also saw the elf that was talking to you all. They all wear the same cloaks of elven kind. And it's a reasonable guess that probably was one too, especially the way the color kind of shifted and melded into the darkness as it turned and moved.
Yeah, there's probably going to see a lot, but he'll let everybody know once they're away from prying eyes and ears what he saw.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you make your way back to the inn. You hadn't been there yet, but it is a large 3-story building built into one of these large platforms that are along the sides of these giant trees. You're all walking around tree houses. I mentioned that the last time you were here, but big structures. Think like the Ewoks village on the forest moon of Endor. That's kind of what we're getting at. These gigantic buildings built along the sides of trees with ramps and walkways strung about the trees and going to and from it. It's a huge city built into the trees.
Pretty soon, Veil's going to be carried around by these guys.
Yump.
Veil, go ahead and make an insight check as you're walking through the city.
All right. Insight. $16.
There's a lot of surprised stares at you by pretty much every elf that you walk by. Like, you've passed groups on your way towards the inn. People are just walking about in 2s and 3s. But every time you pass an elf, a high elf, a forest elf, whatever, they do a double take and stare directly at you, Veil. You're with
I stare back.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, and I have no doubt that your party members notice this as well. Nobody approaches you or anything like that because you have a captain walking there next to you, but there's a lot of weird looks.
Okay.
Eventually, you arrive at the inn. Captain Ambrosia says to you that he repeats what Ohm says, that tomorrow where the party is leaving about 1 o'clock and continuing on with the journey, but until then, you're free to rest or do whatever. He advises you, if you plan on leaving the inn, to speak with one of the Barridur, so they know that where you are, and for your own safety, he says. And then gives you 2 room keys. You have 2 rooms provided to you. They're not the biggest in the inn, but you go up there and you check them out, and one has 3 beds in it, one has 2. A wash station, a little bathroom connects the 2 rooms together. And apart from that, it's very lavishly furnished. All the furniture is very well made. You can tell it's all reclaimed wood that they take and carve into these very beautiful and ornate furnishings that still has that same motif of, trees, woods, the outdoors. But once you have your rooms, the evening is yours. So, Fab 5, what are you wanting to do?
Is there any way, are there any shops open or anything? Or
you have not seen a single shop since you arrived here.
Is Liam still a tiger?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it lasts very long. How long does it last?
1 hour.
1 hour? So it's up to you if you drop it or not.
Haven't dropped it until it drops, sir. I'm it's full time the first time.
Then yeah, he's still a tiger.
Then I wild shape into a tiger.
Okay, you're all in your rooms, and Eloise wild shapes into a tiger.
We're gonna
and goes into like that play pose, where the front's down, the butt's kind of wiggling.
You guys want the other room? There you go. but I'll just be like, we're gonna need to get you a cloak if you're gonna want to walk around like this. Your hair before was one thing, but now it's everywhere. And he's gonna kind of do like magic fingers as he goes down. He's like, you're not really conspicuous, if you know what I mean.
Well, I don't think this is meant to be conspicuous. This is my power.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to go poof before battle, I mean, you're gonna stand out amongst all the green leafies. Just letting you know. Maybe we can get you, and he's, kind of like shake his cloak. Maybe we can get you one of these. Maybe we can.
Apollyon comes over and slaps Liam on the back, and he says, "Oh, this boy knows how it is. We don't need to hide in the shadows like somebody. We can get out there and fight in the open."
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you're looking correctly, but all these fancy stripes here, these help me blend in. You ever seen a tiger in the wild? You never see a tiger in the wild.
I've seen quite a few of them, but you are amongst a green background, and you're bright orange and purple? Orange and purple? Is that what your colors are? It's like, you don't stand, you don't blend, sir. You stand out.
You don't blend.
Actually, I do. You stand out like a motherfucker right now, that's all I'm saying.
Well, we're in a room, I'm not trying to hide right now, so whatever. And he goes and plays with Tiger Eloise.
Well, I tried to pounce on Blood while this was happening. 15. Does 15 do it?
No.
Dang it!
Be like, okay, that's weird even for me. Yeah. I'm gonna have to say no on that one, Eloise. You go play with him. You guys tiger it up. He needs to learn how to be a cat. Go show him. Somebody give him a scratching post.
I roll a ball of yarn across the floor.
Oh shit! Now you're gonna have fucking 400-pound tiger.
Apollyon has a ball of yarn in his inventory? You've been carrying that around how long?
I have hempen rope, so
works.
it's like the size of a basketball.
I pounce again, and
that is kind of like a tiger,
Nobody.
tiger ball.
I'd like to think that when she transforms, she's like a 400-pound fucking Bengal tiger here. Or a white tiger, I guess. Siegfried and Roy would be both proud and shocked in horror.
They'd just be scared. They got mauled by tigers, bro.
A white one, too.
They deserved it.
That was gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if we can find a place to shop, I mean,
Wow.
we'll at least get some provisions and things like that for them.
I think that's gonna have to wait till the morning, guys. It's like 1
there
a.m.
are no shops.
No.
Man, I already said that.
Vale's gonna start his trance to rest.
Probably a good idea. Vale sits down, go to bed. Like you
Eloise
did not see
flicks
any
Vale
shops.
right under the nose with her tail.
I should clarify, you did not see any shops while you were traveling through the city.
Okay.
But it sounds like Vale is going straight to bed. Liam and Eloise are yiffing. What's Apollyon and Blood doing?
Oh, I'm gonna find somewhere to pump some iron, keep myself at my physical peak, and I have some good body oil I need to rub on.
Well, you can do that in your bedroom, in your room at the inn if you want to, or I suppose
Is there
there's
any weights I can lift?
I mean, there's a table, there's a dresser, and probably a bureau and things like that.
There's a tiger
Alright, yeah.
that you can lift.
There's a tiger. There's a couple
I'm on the
tigers.
bench. I like turn the big like wardrobe or bureau or whatever on its side, and I get down and start like bench pressing it. Does one of the cats jump on top of it?
Make
Yeah.
an athletics check.
You put a big
29.
square thing on it.
I'm gonna remind you that you do have a point of exhaustion, so you're rolling at disadvantage right now.
Oh shit!
So
11?
that's an
Roll a
11.
19 and a 1. Come
Yeah.
on.
That's
okay, hang on. If
depressing.
you usually roll at advantage, though, would it just be a straight roll?
he doesn't normally
I don't
unless
think
he's
it's supposed to
raging.
be- Yeah, I just
Yeah.
had advantage on
okay,
accident.
Cool.
It's supposed to be normal.
Yeah,
No worries.
Nice try, nice try.
but
11.
So when Eloise jumps on this thing, it just like Apollyon loses it and he pancakes out.
I'll allow it.
And I'm gonna kind of like pat his hair and bat at the hair on top of his head, boop his nose,
I guess
and I'm just gonna chill out on top of it, just staring
Oh,
down at him. Every now and then
Oh,
you
I
see the tip of the tail just flick over.
Do we feel the need to take?
Hey, get out of here! I'm trying to work out.
Where'd that
So-
noise come from?
So while that insanity is going on, Blood, what are you doing? Are you just watching this whole thing?
I guess at first he will. Now the building, how tall was the building? Is it just like a 1-story?
It's a 3-story building. You are on the 2nd story.
Okay.
Your rooms are.
And how far off the ground are we if we're in the trees?
Being that you're in the trees, oh god, you're probably a good 70 or so, maybe 80 or so feet up.
And I guess if we're setting watches or something like that, he's gonna just see all of that shit going on, and he'll just kind of like walk outside and just find like a spot like in the tree, somewhere he can just kind of like nestle and sit and just start like writing his little, I guess, his conclave journal book detailing everything that's been going on.
You're
Keeping an eye out for people.
Your rooms do have a balcony on
All right,
it.
well then,
Um,
prop up there.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. While they're like all playing it in the room, Vale's sitting on the bed trancing, you make your way out onto the balcony and sit down and start writing in your journal, just kind of chronicling everything that's been going on, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just watching out, just making see if there's more people staring at us. But and he'll just do that for a little while, then duck inside.
Okay.
Grab somebody else to go out there.
Well, you sit there for a while. You're reading in your journal. Go ahead and make a what is your passive perception?
22 now.
22. You got a high passive perception. You can see down below, like on the main the walkway, the bridge that is down there below. Quite a few people making their way to and fro. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's like 1 a.m. There's not a lot of people out there. There's like a handful of people, really, at this point. And the city is very dark. There's guards that occasionally go by. You do notice, as you're getting up, you're like, okay, I'm going to go grab a friend and sit out here, like you said. As you're getting up and you're starting to make your way in, you see across the expanse. There's another tree, probably a good 10, 15 yards away, with other buildings built onto the side of the trunk. And you could have sworn you saw another of those fucking gray-green cloaks up there on the roof for a moment, moving across it and then ducking down behind a large branch.
Just kind of bristling and just kind of writing down, describing, not letting it know that he's seen them, just kind of like just going back down and writing stuff down, but kind of just like have his eye looking up, peeking, seeing exactly what it's doing.
As you pause there, watching and writing, make another perception check, an actual one.
17.
So, at the moment, as you're out there looking, watching, you don't see the cloak anymore. But you do hear a... And you look as an arrow strikes about an inch away from your cheek, goes right past your cheek, and embeds itself in the wall behind you.
And he just fucking just badass and just like kind of just like not even pay attention, just kind of like look over at it and just pull it out of the wall.
As you pull it out of the wall, something catches your eye, and a wave of nostalgia hits you. You remember back as a child with your father up in the mountains, and he's sitting there whispering to you two boys. You ever want to send a message to another person? You take the vein of a leaf, strip away the leaf, wrap it around the arrow, tie the knot, and then you recognize that that this is a friend, not foe. And as you look at that arrow, plain, simple, basic arrow, you see the vein of a leaf wrapped around the shaft and tied in a knot.
I think at that point he would break character a little bit, and he's just going to start kind of like just breathing heavy for a second, just just kind of put the arrow like in his book, and then just try and best he can go back to writing, and like not show that holy shit, like he's seeing ghosts, kind of thing. And just do his best and just like, all right, yeah, okay. Because he's getting the message, so.
Okay. So you stand there for a while longer, continuing to write, trying to pay attention at the same time, and you do have a very high passive perception. You do see that cloaked individual stand up and just stand there for a minute, and then turn and start walking around the side of walk around on the roof to the side of the building, where they disappear beyond sight.
I guess right as it's walking, or right before it goes, he's going to do the whistles that his brother would know. He doesn't know if it's going to be his brother, but if this is a friend and this guy knows what this is, he's just gonna kind of like do that, kind of like clicks and whistles, and just see.
Well,
Stop or anything.
it's a pretty far distance. I'm going to say you're going to have to be pretty damn loud, like 15 yards or more away.
Okay. I mean, all right, he'll still do it. I mean, because
yeah, no, still do it.
It's just a bird whistle, you know.
So what I want from you is a performance check to see if you can make it loud enough that this individual can hear.
Yeah.
+7, it's not bad.
Performance.
11.
No response.
Better.
Unfortunately, no response. But you did see where they went.
Is there a clear path to that tree from the tree he's on?
I mean, there is. You'd have to climb down to the platform bridge and make your way across it to another tree. There is a gap with a bridge across it.
Fucking, it's a disadvantage. I don't know. Do I want to risk that? Are we like essentially prisoners in this kind of inn, or can we walk around? Are they letting us?
You were told something specific when you first arrived.
Fucking stay put. Yeah.
You were told to stay put, and if you want to leave the inn, you need to clear it with the Baridur before you do so. That's what they told you.
If I wasn't at disadvantage, I'd fucking go for a walk in the moonlight. Because these motherfuckers see with dark vision, and blood can disappear in the dark.
So what are you doing?
How long has this been going on?
I'm going to say you've been out there on that balcony for probably a couple hours now. You said you spent an hour riding. Well, maybe we'll say an hour and a half. We'll split it down.
All right.
It is late, but it's not horribly late. You do know that you are going to be able to sleep in the morning.
Yeah.
No risk, no reward.
But you don't have to. You can choose to go back in. It's entirely up to you.
No, he's... Alright, so I'd have to go down and how... The one that... Is it wide in the open, the crossway to get to that tree?
So, like I said, imagine Ewok Village again. The bridges between the platforms are wide enough that 5 or 6 people can walk side by side. They're pretty damn big. They're little stalls normal city shit in the middle of it. It's just up in the trees.
I'm guessing that there has to be lantern or torchlight, since the tree coverage has been described as being almost total.
There very much is. There are street lamps all over the place, and you've seen them. They're actually illuminated by glow moss, little glow moss balls in them. They put out kind of a yellowy green glow and do illuminate the city at night. But it is dim light.
Checking with the barrier door, or he's just invisible and dim and dark light. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna roll those dice. He's gonna go and he's gonna try and follow this person.
Okay. Are you going back inside and making your way through the inn, or are you just climbing out?
No, he's got a climb speed. I mean, would that be a disadvantage as well, since he's got a climb speed?
Not really. You're not making a roll to climb. You can choose to climb down and just climb down the side of the tree away from windows. Okay.
He'll kind of go down the side.
Okay.
Look around, make sure nobody's looking, and then he'll go down the side.
So what I do want from you is a stealth check at disadvantage because you are exhausted.
So it's just straight.
So it's a straight roll.
Oh.
17.
Ooh.
I don't have
that's a freaking 2 for blood.
You pull the cloak up, the hood up over your head, and you make your way out onto the balcony, over the banister of the balcony, and begin climbing down along the building to the tree to climb down. And you're careful. You're quite stealthy, making your way down.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you hear me?
My shit just went blank there for a second. So, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got y'all.
You make your way.
What level of rogue are you at?
8.
Ah.
Why?
You don't have reliable talent yet.
Oh no, I won't end up getting reliable talent. Not unless we go to 16.
We'll see. But as you climb your way down, you're keeping as stealthy as you can. Fortunately, you got that cloak that definitely helps you stay invisible. And most of it for climbing down the inn and down the tree, it's mostly pretty much very, very dim light. So you're basically invisible for most of it.
That's his favorite friend right now. Is
Mm-hmm.
that? Oh.
You climb down to and make your way to the base, not the base of the tree, but the base of the platform, and are able to climb up onto it. You're still keeping to the shadows, but now you have the bridge ahead. There aren't many people walking along it. You can see about halfway between where you are now and the tree you need to get to. There is a set of patrolling guards that are just walking along the bridgeway. There is, like, detritus and stuff along the roads, but you do also have the spacing of the lamps, which do provide illumination, though it's not, like, super, super bright. How do you want to get across the bridge?
So, like, crates and shit maybe set up, along this pathway, or...
Occasionally.
Detritus. Okay.
Yeah, crates, a cart or two, things like that, maybe a stall.
How far away are those two guards?
We're going to say that between you and them, you have probably about 60 feet.
And they're walking towards me?
They're walking away from you towards the tree you want to get to.
Okay. When I was looking down below, was I seeing their patrol pattern? Would this be... can I do like a perception or investigation to see if
I'd say that's probably a survival check.
Survival, okay. +7 as well. So, oh shit, I gotta do that. Well, shit, that's probably gonna be the worst. I don't know why it's back on normal. Oh, it's because I was straight. Yeah, 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, 10. You really don't remember the pattern they were walking.
Well, I mean, he'll stick to those crates and those stalls and see if he can, move up and. If they end up getting up to, like, turning around and passing him, he's, as soon as they pass, he'll make his way on.
Okay, so
just imagine he's got that box, it's got a C on it, and he's just going along the bridge right now.
Yeah, I dig it. So what I'm going to want is I want 3 stealth checks from you. The first one, the DC is pretty low. You're just trying to make your way to a box. The second one is going to be higher because you're getting kind of close to where they are. And then the third one is going to be waiting for them to pass by and go the other way. And so give me those 3 stealth checks.
There's a 20. 24.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Anesthetic, good to see you.
Baby. 34.
Wow.
The one that he needed the most.
Yeah. You dart across the road, hiding down behind a big group of crates. You wait until the perfect moment when the group is just past one of those lights, and you scurry across the bridge, making your way to another hiding point behind a little stall that looks like maybe a food cart or something. You pause there, hiding, ducking down, and you wait and you watch. And the 2 guards get to a point halfway across the bridge. They stop. They both look 2 different directions. They seem to be making, for mechanical purposes, they're making perception checks of their own. But yeah, I know what their stats are, and it's impossible to get a 34.
Their vision cone is doing that sweep.
Yeah, exactly. Then they turn. And they begin back walking the opposite way towards you. You duck your head down. You stay silent. They make their way past.
All right. Well, then as soon as they are passed by, a safe enough distance in his eyes, he's going to make his way to the building.
Okay. You make your way up to a building, which is It seems to be just a residential type place. There's like a little bridge and ladders and stairways and there's like 3 or 4 little entryways. So they're kind of like apartments type of thing. It's quiet. You are able to begin climbing your way up. One more stealth check.
Oh, it's done. 35.
Keeping to the darkness, your preferred place, you nimbly climb your way up the next building and onto the roof where you had seen the individual. You scurry across the roof to the point where you saw them duck down and hide. Make for me an investigation check. Anesthetic is also in chat right now, and she seems to be looking down on you with favor. She's giving you her inspiration.
That's my girl.
That's my girl.
So I guess you know what, I'll roll at disadvantage, and then if I have to roll again, we'll see. 17. I think it's 17's probably. If I'm looking for evidence of him.
You duck down and start looking through. There's a little bit of trash and debris, but one thing does stick out to you. It's a stick standing straight up between a couple of the pieces of thatch of the roof, and it's broken. It's broken in a way that's more bent than broken, but slightly broken, so it's pointing in a direction, and it's pointing specifically in the direction that you saw the individual walk.
Fucker. Alright, yeah, he'll start making his way around.
You stand up and start making your way around. Are you continuing with your being stealthy as you do this?
Yeah, we're not letting that go.
Another stealth check.
26.
26. One second. Where'd it go? Of course, it's not wanting to load. Sorry, Roll20 is not loading for me right now.
Yeah, it was fucking up earlier for me, too.
Wire with me.
Yeah, I figured I didn't get to do anything with that half orc in the mountain. So this is blood. So this is something he had to do.
There we
go back for the feathers. Ooh, no, that'd be too much. Got to go help Liam save a town.
We would have had to fight a giant rock with Apollyon turning into a monster. Okay,
we
so
didn't have to fight it. We could have just found out where it's
we would have had to fight Apollyon in monster form while fighting the rock. That's how that would have played out.
Let him fight the rock.
By yourself.
Anyway. Well, okay. So you make your way around, and you hurry towards the edge of you make your way around the roof, around this tree, and the building on it. There's basically like 4 buildings situated, each are wrapped around this giant tree trunk. So at one point you do have to like kind of jump across to get to the next one. Give me an acrobatics check.
There's nothing like complaining about our choices. Freaking like 2 chapters after we've made them.
Hey, there's lots of things.
Yeah.
29.
29. You easily jump across to the next rooftop. And when you do, you spot another stick. This one is turned slightly and broken and is pointing away from the roof. And you can see basically there's another gap, about a 40-foot gap, between one building and another tree and another rooftop. There's about a 40-foot gap between them, and it's pointed in that direction.
So he's got to go down again to make across another bridge?
Unless you can make it across somehow.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone this far. I mean, it doesn't look. I mean, it definitely looks like it's going towards that roof, though.
It's the broken stick is definitely pointed towards that
you can't
roof.
jump 40 feet.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
29.
Still making these awesome rolls, and
Yeah,
as you're standing there looking, you're looking, and you can see there's another balcony on that opposite building, and the door is open to the chamber beyond. But you also see the individual, the hooded, robed, or cloaked individual, standing there, looking directly at you.
There's not like a zip line or anything going across. This motherfucker just...
No zip line or anything like that, no.
Well, I mean, I guess it's going to go, it's down again and then up, really, pretty much.
That's basically what you're going to have to do, yeah. Unless you have a way to get across the 40-foot gap.
I mean, I don't have the boots of springing and leaping, which would have tripled my jump distance, but even then, I don't think 40 feet would be doable for him, so...
Okay.
And I don't have anything that'll... I mean, I don't have that kind of fucking magic. Yeah, he can talk to fucking animals and, like, make good berries. That's all he can do.
See, Bugs Bunny would just, like, shoot himself as an arrow.
That's true.
I know, but... Yeah, I mean, he'll just go down and do it again. I mean, it's...
Staying stealthy?
Yeah.
2 more stealth checks.
24. We're gonna do it on that one. We're gonna use the inspiration on that one.
Okay.
That one's cacked.
29. Thank you.
With that climb speed and staying in the shadows, you are not spotted by anyone as you make your journey. You climb down the building, you make it to another bridge, you scurry across the bridge and start climbing up the tree again. You have to climb onto the building and kind of climb up to the roof, and then drop down onto the balcony where you saw the robed individual. And when you get down there, the room is dark. There's nobody seemingly there. And it appears to be just a small living domicile. You see a bed, you see the outline of a table and chairs where you're standing on the balcony. You can see in from there because of your crazy dark vision.
He'll do some of his clicks again to like say friendly in the area. I guess I could do another performance if you'd like.
No, you don't need to do a performance. You make these sounds and you kind of wait. Nothing replies.
You said, is there a set of stairs going down, you said? Or...
No, it's a balcony and an open door that steps into a living quarters.
He'll, this guy hasn't shown him, or this person, because he doesn't want to assume gender, might be chick, hasn't shown him aggression. And so he is going to drop his hood, and he's going to walk into the room. So he's putting trust that this person doesn't wish him harm.
You step into the living chamber, and you walk past the bed, walk past the table. You can see the little kitchen area beyond, and another entryway into what appears to be a bedroom. Very quietly, you walk, waiting, hoping, that you haven't been aggressive. And as you walk, you feel the very light tap of a point dig into your back. You hear a voice.
That's all he's like, really?
Now, I have had the opportunity to test this blade out against a ghost, and it is very effective. So I just gotta ask, why are you wearing a dead man's face?
Oh, I'm very much alive, sir.
Make a history check.
Damn it, as soon as you started going in your fucking southern drawl. Oof, God. History, it's alright, it's not bad. 14?
You hear a rich voice that definitely piques a memory, and for a second, you could have sworn that was the voice of your father. And yet, is it?
Well, if you think I am dead, sir, you must know about the other one. What was his name?
You feel just a little bit of pressure on your back, as though like coaxing you forward. And you can't help but reflexively take a step. And as you say that, you hear a reply in that same voice. That name is dead as well. But it's a name I do remember. Turn around.
Hear it out loud. And he'll turn around as he's saying that.
And as you turn around and look, your dark vision sees a Tabaxi with pale white fur, a scar across his eye, wearing very ornate leather armor, with a short sword, held in a very light hand, pointed up, and looking at you very curiously.
And he'll just kind of look at him. He's staring at him. He's just gonna... Little stream? No, you... I saw you die. If you think I'm dead, I saw you die. What kind of trick is this?
You can't help but say to the physical body of what you would expect to be two rivers. And that's where we're going on break.
Oh, God damn it.
Bum, bum, bum.
So stay tuned, everybody. we're going to be back in about 10 minutes, and we're going to find out what comes from this final event, this final reunion between Blood from a Stone and this event. What final's the wrong word? I'm trying to find the right one. Eventual, predicted, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, we'll be back in about 10 minutes, and we're going to see what happens with this reunion between Blood from a Stone and his long lost brother, Two Rivers. Stay tuned.
God damn you, man.
Faded.
Welcome back, everybody. When we last left off, Blood basically saw something he was not expecting to see. The very familiar form of his long-dead twin brother, Two Rivers.
Right.
Sorry. Matt had needed to cough for a moment, but he is standing there. He's looking you over very quizzically, and his sword is still up, and it has a very faint bluish glow to it as he looks you over. So there's just this little bit of light between the two of you, and that sheen definitely kind of bounces off of that pale white fur that he has beneath his cloak. His cloak is up. His cloak is about his shoulders, but you can see that he is wearing some very intricate armor. Hold on one second. Still not 100% over this, but he's wearing some very intricate armor that you've seen once before on that same elf that had been talking to Eloise. He had been wearing similar armor.
Me again? He tried to go through me? What the fuck?
So yeah, I mean, she would have described that to him, so he would have at least. How can I know this isn't really you?
I have to be saying the same thing. How do I know you are you? When Kumna described seeing you, I couldn't believe my ears. And, I mean, that while there are many black Tabaxi out there, there's not one with... And he kind of touches that scar that's opposite yours.
You know,
Who are you?
He would slowly, he's going to kind of raise his hands, and he's going to say, he goes, I can pull something out that you might recognize. And he's just going to kind of reach down, and he's just going to pull out his sword, but he's going to have it, like, hold it handle first. And he's like, if you recognize this, then you know I am who I am. And
Make a persuasion check while you're doing
God
that.
damn it, with disadvantage, motherfucker. And he's holding up his brother's sword.
You're welcome.
Fucking bastard. Ooh, 16? That's not bad.
The Tabaxi looks at the hilt that you extended toward him, and he snatches it out of your hand. And he looks it over for a moment. And then you see him move faster than you could possibly expect anyone to move. And for a moment, you think he's moving to stab you. You raise your hands defensively. And then you find yourself in the embrace of a very familiar scent.
And just like myself, Blood's just going to kind of put his arms around him, and he's just going to start crying. Because he hasn't seen him in nearly 6 years now. He's thought he's dead.
Mm-hmm. And you hear the same visceral emotions coming from the man who's holding you. And the two of you just cling to one another, crying, bawling out the sorrow of mutual loss for you don't even know how long. Eventually, the both of you regain enough, control of your emotions, and you back away from one another. And he says, I thought you were dead. I thought everybody was dead. How did you survive?
Well, your friends, Dim and Dumb, that came with us, I don't remember what their actual names were. That's just what I called them. Your little Order of Fire people. They dragged me out.
He names them off. I don't remember what the names are.
I literally, in my notes, I just call them Dim and Dumb.
Yeah, that's fine. So, but anyway, yeah. What do you remember of that night, Blood?
Well, Pharaoh must have, and Reynard Pharaoh is the half-elf that got them in. Either he was betrayed or they were watching him. Because we were ambushed before we ever got to the ruins. And we were making our escape. Quill and Leaf, the two researcher boys that were with us, they were torn apart. They brought their bodies back to us. Gave them to their parents. But then Dim and Dumb had grabbed me and we were making our escape. And then you, being Johnny Badass you think you are, turned to face the elves as they dragged me away. And I just remember you getting cut down. And they wouldn't let me stay. They wouldn't let me go after you. I mean, they dragged me away.
I remember seeing them pulling you away, and I heard arrows flying overhead, and I heard screaming as I tried to hold off those elves that were coming to kill us. I'd never fought so hard in my life, but I didn't last more than a few moments before they cut me down. I did die that day, Blood. They killed me.
What am I looking at?
The last thing I heard was someone saying that everyone had been killed. And then I died. But then I awoke. I don't know how long it had been at the time. I found out later it was only basically a few hours. I'd been brought back to a camp. I'm sorry, not a few hours, a few days. They brought my body back to a camp. And they brought me back to a city. And they resurrected me. Because they wanted to know who it was that came over and what they were doing. What we were doing.
There's been somebody eyeballing me. Some little bookwormy type this whole time.
Bald head, long ears, green eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he told us about the ritual that Liam went through.
That's Kuna.
So
He's my Almadine. And the word that he says, it's kind of a mix between Elven and Sylvan, but you recognize it as sworn brother.
Does he bring you back? I mean, did he get you out? I mean, what's Alnad? What are you going? Why are you calling yourself nothing? What is?
he has a wry chuckle at that, and he walks over to the kitchen area, and he pulls out a chair and he places his sword and his old sword down on the table and motions for you to sit down as well. I think we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Just a little. He's gonna just like every chance he gets, he's still just kind of like putting his hands on him just to make sure that he's real.
Yeah, I get that.
Might even take his knife and just kind of like slit his, kind of just put a little cut on the back of his hand just to see if he bleeds and if he feels pain.
And actually, Alnad does allow you to do this. He's kind of patient, and he even nicks you with his claws.
Yeah, I was saying,
like,
claws. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's just as interested. He thinks you're just as much of a specter as you think of him. But eventually, he sits you down and he tells you a very odd tale. He was resurrected by the elves and put to the question for quite a long time. He says with pride that he held out for several weeks before he finally gave up and told them exactly what he was doing, but that he recounted the tale of wanting to see the ruins, wanting to find out the truth about the Tabaxi time here and proof that they had been driven out. And he spent quite a long time in prison there, until eventually he was introduced to a man, a guard captain, who listened to his tale. This captain was a member of the Momelda, which you've heard the name before, but it's a really odd word that doesn't translate well. It essentially means beloved servant, or servant of the land, or servant of the people. There's like a few different ways to translate it. But he says that this individual of the Momelda heard of my imprisonment and came to talk to him and to listen to what he said. He had been told long ago that he was the only survivor of your trek into there, and he had no real reason to disbelieve it. He thought everyone was dead, and he does tell you that eventually he was shown the remains of those who were slain, and it was enough for him to believe that you were all dead. But after hearing about telling about the reason he was there, this captain, Captain Tirana is the name he gives you, took pity on him and decided to reveal some very dangerous truths. Truths enough that, and he kind of hangs his head at this, and he says, "Blood, you gotta understand, everything I believed, everything we believed, was both right and wrong at the same time."
I'm gonna need clarification on that. So, we were right that this was our settlement, and we did belong here, and we're also wrong. You gotta fill me in here.
Right before the Age of Returning, when the races of Loroupa returned to the surface, there was several clan of Tabaxi who chose to go up ahead shortly after people began exploring there and left on their own. Outside the gateway to the surface, not but 100 more miles away from it, they found a beautiful, fertile land that they decided to settle on, not knowing what was underneath there. These Tabaxi lived there for many, many years, and began to awaken a horrible, horrible thing, a titan of the past, that was buried there, underneath the ground. These Tabaxis began to awaken this creature, and when the civilized races of Loroupa came to the surface, the elves found the Tabaxi there, and found them almost annihilated. They were able to transplant the settlement, those that survived there. And the elves took up ownership of this cursed land. this land that we call Syol'yn Revar.
The fertile field. Is that what that one, or is it a different one?
It is the fertile field.
Okay, yeah.
But then he says that name is complicated. And he tells you there's another translation of that word, of that phrase. It is not fertile land. It is the world ender.
Oh. And I guess as he's describing this, Blood would kind of go into a quick launch of that dream, that vision that they all shared of this massive Titan creature attacking the tree in the portal. I hate to kind of say this, but this sounds like that's what you're talking about. I mean, these are the legends we used to hear as children.
And since then, like I said, it is both true, but not altogether true. The Tabaxi did settle there first. There's no denying that. But what they awoke, it could destroy the world once again. I'm not thrilled about this fact, but the elves were right to claim ownership because our people had no way to deal with that sort of thing. And when I learned the truth about this, and I realized what we were about to reawaken, I made a choice. I chose to dedicate myself to keeping that thing dormant, to keeping people out of that area. I knew the truth now. I could either stay a prisoner for the rest of my life, or I could dedicate myself to something else, to protecting this world from that. And he says a Tabaxi swear word that like kind of makes your hair bristle a little bit. So I joined the Mole Melda. When you swear your oaths, you forswear your old life. You take a new name, you take a new purpose.
And nothing was the best name you could come up with?
he chuckles at that, and I thought it was ironic, honestly.
I bet you did.
Well, father and mother, I knew that our choices, they weren't going to have anything to do with me, with us. Once we set foot in that kingdom, and
right,
for all I knew, you were dead. I had nobody. I had nothing. So why not?
No,
why not be nothing?
I understand. Hold on a second. What? Kids just won't leave me alone. He's like, you have no idea how right you are that our parents wanted nothing to do with us after that. When Father found out what happened, he banished me. Under penalty of death of ever returning, he banished me from all Tabaxi lands. I've made my own pact of sorts to survive. I became a member of the Thieves Guild. Pretty good one, I have to say. I mean, I heard that they have a little girl now.
Do they?
I don't know if it's theirs or if they had brought her, took her in, but we potentially have a sister out there.
That at least brings a small smile to his face.
Both mother and father are still alive and still, from what I understand, doing well. I haven't sent somebody to check on them in a while. But life goes on back home. A lot of people still believe the old myth of You know, that we should be living here.
As you say that, like, the hoods of his eyes kind of go up a little bit, and he leans forward at you, and he says, "Nobody can ever know what actually happened at Mol Melda, or at Syol'yn Revar.
Well, hell, I mean, I just wish there was a way."
No, you're seeing, he's serious as fuck right now, and he says, "No one can ever know the truth."
Things I've come up against with this dream occult, I don't know if you've heard of them. The things we have witnessed, the things we have fought, the threats that have been made.
I saw a report on the desk of the leader of the conclave. So
Yeah,
I saw a little bit. He kind of arches an eyebrow.
Oh, I know somebody broke in. And I figured it was the elf and the mysterious gentleman that I had no idea who was. But I figured it was you two.
When Kumna told me that white dragonborn showed up at our borders, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna kill her right there.
Yeah, that's Miss Eloise. She means well. She's sweet as a peach. You'll love her. She means well. I mean, she causes me a lot of headaches.
Did she tell you that I met her while I was in Valena? That was
you guys threw her off a ship.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, some random person shows up and tells you your dead brother is alive and wants to bring you there. What do you expect was gonna happen?
I wish. I mean, I don't know what would have happened if we had met then instead of now. A lot of things have happened in between then and now.
He raises an eyebrow and he says, "I'm not going to lie to you, brother. I would have to at that point make a choice, and I'm not sure what I'll be going to be able to decide. But I need you to understand that to you, I am dead, and you can't acknowledge the fact that I exist."
To the world, you're dead. But to me, I know you're alive.
He puts a hand on yours.
I won't let anybody... I mean, my team is one thing. They've trusted me with some pretty big secrets. And they could be of a help. I mean, we're going to these ruins to try and stop whatever's happening. They brought us in for that. So I don't know if we're going to stop the rising of this end of the world Titan.
It's complicated. I'm well aware of your mission. Actually, that's why I'm here in the city. I'm a part of the team that's going to be taking you to the cursed lands.
I mean, I'm assuming you know, or somebody's doing something to you, and you don't look like this all the time.
He shrugs at that and he says, "The Mol Melda accepts all into its rankings."
I just didn't know if they would allow you to be walking around the ranks so openly. I didn't know if you disguised yourself or something.
No, I do not need to. The Mol Melda is one of the few that accepts individuals outside the elves into their order.
I've met a few Barriador that seem like good people too, but most of these elves are just snotty pricks. I mean,
he shrugs. They grow on you.
God damn it, you make it quite. I mean, I've spent the last lot of years fucking hating elves. And now you tell me you're taking away something that's kind of driven me for a long time, brother.
Up until now, the only thing that's driven me is the knowledge of my mission. The revelation that you are alive. It's wonderful and complicated at the same time, brother.
Oh, it is. Because I've dedicated myself to stopping the streamer. Because, now that I don't know if you'd figured out, but I mean, I'm pretty certain those legends are true. That our people were brought here as slaves for this dreamer. And now his cultists, his believers, are trying to bring him back.
I imagine you spend some time kind of telling him
He'll break him. Give his, like, what's happened to him. Definitely over the last, year. I guess it's been, what, a year since he and Apollyon, roughly, maybe?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, about a year.
So, yeah, he'll, I guess he would give him a breakdown of his time, in the Syndicate. Tell him things like that, and then just kind of break down what's happened to him, and especially kind of go over detail of what's going on with the Dreamer.
That is an odd tale, but now I understand why the Conclave asked for one of the mystical roots that the elves have.
Yeah. I guess if we found out, I know the other group found out how many was, because isn't it what, they need 5 roots, or is it 3?
They currently have 3, you know that.
But they needed 5, right?
I think you actually asked that question in one of your free questions, and you know that they need 5.
So yeah, I mean, and we have what, 2 now? At least 2. We're gonna get the one from the elves, and we got the one we got initially.
Yeah, you got the one you got initially, and you're getting this one, so you would have 2 at this point.
We'll have potentially 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they have all these dream roots, I guess there's other aspects to it, but they're going to go up to the mountain, that one we saw every fucking day when we would look up, where that tree used to stand. And that's where that vision took place. I guess that's where this world ender, attacked the tree. I mean, you're telling me this thing can't be released, but I'm almost thinking we might need it. I mean, God forbid that. I mean, I don't know how we would ever control such a creature, so that is definitely way, way down the list of possibilities. But that thing might have been the only thing that stopped that fucking.
We cannot let that thing return to life.
I mean, I remember the stories that they would tell us about it, the legends that we've heard.
I've been into Syol'yn Revar. I've seen it for myself. They brought me to the chasm. The city is a ruin along the edge of a mountain, and the cliff opens up to a deep cave that reeks of death and decay.
Oh, Veil will be happy. It's kind of like, we got a guy that likes playing with dead things. The other elf that was with us, the dark elf.
I saw him.
He actually, I mean, as peculiar as he is, he's one of the first elves I've actually kind of befriended. I'd call him a friend.
You and I have lived some very different lives these last few years.
Yeah, we have.
If that friend of yours was not a member of the Conclave, he probably would have been killed. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, many times over. He actually came fucking close to going to prison for his little friends that he resurrects. So he's come very close. He's from the Underdark. I mean, he doesn't know the ways up top. We've told him, he's like, hey, yeah, people don't like seeing dead things walking around. But they're like his friends. They're his pets. It's weird. Very, very weird.
That sounds extremely disturbing.
Oh, it can be. And they smell after a while. They, just because he resurrects them, they don't stay fresh and clean. They continue to rot. It's very gross.
He just shakes his head at that.
A little bit of lavender under the bridge of the nose, helps very, very well. But he'll just kind of I still just, I can't believe you're here.
Yeah.
I never got to say goodbye to you. I felt like it was my fault because I was supposed to watch you. Father charged me with keeping your more reckless tendencies from getting in your head, and I failed.
You know me, Blood. I always had to play the hero.
Yeah, I know. You and that goddamn Order of Fire and Fire from the Mountain, you guys. That stupid prophecy.
Order of Fire. He laughs at the Order of Fire, and he's like, I was so naive back then.
Yeah, that
That
dumb
was so
prophecy the
naive.
mother had. Or that hallucination. She had a hallucination, I mean, but it made her feel better.
Well, I won't be no Tabaxi hero anymore. I've sworn my life to doing what I'm doing here, and I can't say it's been a bad life. Though I'll miss you something fierce.
If what you've been doing... Vincent, seriously. God, my children. Oh, twice now. Twice.
The joys of kids.
If what you've been saying is what you've been doing all this time, you're a hero, but you're just never going to get the acknowledgement of it.
Less of a hero, more of a spy. But he shrugs.
Yeah, I don't think many people could have followed you like I was able to follow you. You're pretty good. And yeah, the arrow that brought back some memories.
I figured if anything was going to get you attention, that would be.
Yeah, shooting in my head, that'll do it. But the message was it was delivered. I don't. You said you're going with us. I don't suppose at some point you'd be willing to meet my friends. You don't have to. I mean,
if we can find a moment to not be seen, see what we can do.
We'll have to make sure somebody can cast, like, silent spells around us, because Miss Eloise, oh shit, she's gonna squeal. And when I say squeal, I mean she's gonna squeal. Let's just say that. Dance up and down. She's very interesting. Interesting dear friend. I love her like a sister. She's been a great comfort. And Apollyon, you gotta meet Apollyon. He kind of became my brother. Like your friend has kind of become yours.
He nods his head and glances towards the door to the balcony, and the sun is beginning to rise.
Oh shit. Yeah, I was supposed to ask permission to leave, and I didn't. Is there a way you could get me back? Because, I mean, I'm pretty good in the dark, but it's starting to get light out. They're going to see me.
Yeah, he looks at that, and he thinks to himself, I think I might be able to help you out this time, but I'll have to be getting out and getting to where I need to be here soon too.
Oh, I got you. I mean, you can help me out this time. I mean, I hope. I mean, I'm pretty tired from the little ordeal of that trial. And so luckily we're not leaving until later this afternoon. I guess this afternoon at this point. So I should be able to get some rest. But yeah, I don't want to risk fucking this up by getting caught on the way back.
Well, let's get you back to your inn. And he stands up and he's casting Pass Without a Trace on himself.
Sweet.
And he tells you,
does that stack? Because I could do it too.
I don't think it does.
Damn it.
But I'm just gonna say that
get back,
between two stealthy kitties and a good spell, you're easily able to make your way back to your room.
I have plus 25 to my stealth check.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but I mean, he understands it's got to be all business, and he's gonna have to leave him. So before they climb down that balcony or leave, he's just gonna give him one last, long hug.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna pull back, and he's just gonna kind of kiss him on the forehead, and just tell him, it's like, I love you too, and I'm happy you're still alive.
Likewise, blood, I love you too.
He's gonna look. He's gonna be like, all right, let's get out of here.
And with that, we turn our scene to the rest of the party. Probably still asleep as Blood from a Stone makes his way back into your shared rooms. I imagine at that point, like, Apollyon is probably passed out somewhere. The kitties. Well, at one point they were both kitties, but I don't know if they are anymore. And
I mean, I switched back a while ago. I think Eloise's cat form lasts quite a bit longer.
What, 4 hours for your wild shapes?
No, I think
it's 8 hours
half
now.
my level. Yeah, I think it's. Hang on.
So 5 hours then.
Or 5 hours, yeah.
It'd be
No,
6.
6.
No, 6.
Or 12, yeah, or 13.
Yeah.
So 6, yeah.
Yeah, so
You can stay in V shape. Yeah, half of my joy level. So yeah, so 6 hours.
She'll probably
There you
still
go.
be a Bengal tiger then sleeping on top of a chest on top of Apollyon.
She's probably right on top of me. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine Liam's a little spoon in this one.
Yep.
There's no spoon. It's like he's got one of those freaking, you know, like those horrible pelt carpets, except a lot heavier, on just like laid out on top of him.
Like, it would make so much more sense for Liam to just like have his head leaning back on the tiger, but no, the tiger is on top of Liam and crushing him. Sure.
Yeah, and purring up the storm.
Probably.
Which Liam would be, you know, maybe might feel claustrophobic at like the difficulty to breathe, but the purring just like makes him slide right into a coma. He's drooling a little bit.
I mean, she told me what I'm doing. That's what it is.
There you go. There you go. But Blood, you are able to find your bed and sleep, and I doubt you get as much. You definitely did not get as much sleep as everybody else, but at least a good 6 hours is enough to get rid of a point of exhaustion. So he's probably the last person to wake up, but you all do eventually wake up late in the morning and have gotten your long rest. So, Fab 5, what would you like to do for the remainder of your morning before you head out?
Before we head out, are there any shops that I'd be able to purchase some components?
If you inquire at down at the inn, the Conclave people would probably tell you that they did see some shops as they were coming through. It's a small, it's an elven city. There's stuff here. It depends on what you're looking for. If you want to bug the Berry Door, they might be able to help you. What specifically are you trying to find?
I'm looking for some powdered rubies, a life-size human doll. Don't ask.
I read that spell.
Some
Don't
quicksilver.
forget the doll has to be filled with ashes.
I think it's creepier when you say "don't ask."
Ashes and blood.
Yeah.
That's what it's
In crystal rod and and like just an ivory, a piece of ivory and some more gems. So basically, like a gem or rock shop or a mineral shop would work. Probably best.
Dude, your class has come up with the automatic encumbrance of all encumbrance, just like obscene components. This is great.
Yeah, like I'm not. Go ahead and roll a D100, and we're gonna see what the odds are that there is a gem and rock and component shop here in the Elven Forest City.
71.
Actually, that's not that bad.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think would be, elves are pretty naturalists.
I mean, they're naturalists, but they're less about gems as more than they are about, trees and plants. But Oddly enough, you do find a small component shop, or you ask the buried door, and they tell you that, yeah, there is a component shop nearby. The odds of everything you're looking for, pretty much non-existent, but they do carry a few things. Making your way to the shop, you figure you have about an hour or so before you're all meeting up for your trip. And you enter the shop, owned by an elf woman, who, as you walk in, she looks you up and down and kind of turns her nose. And gets a very sour look at her on her face, and she's like, can I help you?
Yes, what do you have for Quicksilver?
She kind of hesitates a little bit, and you do have a buried door escort that follows you as you headed out into the city. And one of them walks up to her and kind of whispers a little bit, and the two of them like have a bit of an exchange. And she finally says, Quicksilver, you asked? I don't have a lot of that. I have maybe 4 ounces of Quicksilver.
How many vials would that be?
When you say vial, what is the component? It just says a vial of Quicksilver?
A vial of Quicksilver worth 500 gold piece.
Oh, that's actually...
Pieces.
Okay, that's pretty expensive. Yeah, that's not nearly as much as you need. She has, like, maybe 50 gold worth.
What is Quicksilver? Is it just a special type of silver?
Know.
It's mercury.
I have no fucking idea.
It's literally mercury.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
All right. What do you have in your crystal rod department?
Well, she pulls up the Bad Dragon website. What sort of crystal rod are you needing?
Just a nice intricate crystal rod. I'll pay you 1,500 gold for it.
Now, does it need to be worth 1,500 gold? Is that what the component says?
Yes, an intricate crystal rod worth at least 1,500 gold. So you could give me a $20 or 20 gold piece crystal rod, but as long as I paid 1,500 for it, that's fine.
No, that doesn't work that way. You need something. You need an object that's worth that.
Okay.
But she does have one of those, and she needs a persuasion check to sell it at cost.
Jesus Christ.
Welcome to being a dark elf in the elven nation in the middle of a Cold War. She has one that has the component cost of 1,500 gold. And she will sell it to you for 1,750.
Done. How about a piece of ivory? And
worth how much?
Gems worth. This is for my contingency spell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna carve it myself. I just need a slab of ivory and gems worth at least 1,500 gold.
You're gonna carve it yourself. Liam's proficient at whittling.
Are you proficient
Maybe I'll persuade you to carve it for me then.
Maybe you will.
Blood does tinker's tools too.
So for what you're needing, they can sell you a rod of ivory and a bunch of gems. Carving it yourself is going to be complicated. Do you have proficiency in artist tools or jeweler's tools?
No, doesn't look like it. So I would have to commission one of my party members, apparently.
Yeah. So if someone has those proficiencies, they can attempt to make this. If you don't have the proficiency in it, attempting to do so is extremely difficult, and the likelihood of failure, you would know with an intelligence of 22 that it's not something. The odds of you performing that and being able to make it's very slim. You're more likely to ruin the things you've got if you were to buy that.
In that case, I have Smith's Tools proficiency, but that wouldn't help me here. And I'd have to say I could whittle wood, but whittling ivory is a different trade altogether. So
yeah, so
you wouldn't be whittling it. You'd be like, yeah.
Yeah,
I can smash it, no problem.
Yeah, that's not what we're looking for, but good try.
Yeah, maybe you could tie it to the end of one of your weapons and get some ivory bonus.
So what I'm telling you is that she will sell you those raw items that you need if you want to make an attempt. But you would also know that you don't have proficiency. You've never made something out of jewelry or something of that intricate art. And so the likelihood of you ruining it is much higher than the likelihood of you succeeding.
So it's like, if you carve jewelry, you could carve it, but you wouldn't be able to sell it for what professional jewelry goes for, because they're intricacies and like specifics and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I get it. Would she perchance be able to carve it for me at a cost?
That's going to be another persuasion check, and the DC is very high because, dude, you're a drow in the middle of Ilmythica.
I'm gonna go with lucky.
I'm not sure it's gonna make a difference.
Plus
19.
Unfortunately, 19 is not enough. You're
rolled
just
perception
in
earlier.
Yeah, he did roll perception.
I have my glasses on. It's dark.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay. But yeah, unfortunately, that's she's not willing to commit to that kind of work. She's also not a jeweler. She works in components.
How about a powdered ruby worth 1,500 gold pieces?
Now, that she is willing to sell you. She does have a good stock of rubies, and she will grind it up for you. And she will sell that one to you at cost because she has like a little bit of sympathy that what the things you're asking for are just out of her ability as well. So she's going to give you the powdered ruby at cost at 1,500 gold.
All right. So that's going to be 1,500 gold for a ruby. The components for a statue, the ivory, hopefully I can find someone to carve it for me.
So you're going to buy the slab of ivory and how much gems?
Total 1,500 gold pieces worth.
Oh, so just the ivory and the gems in total has to be 1,500 piece worth?
Yeah, yep.
So, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Is lycanthropy considered a disease?
No, it is a curse.
Cool. Okay. Once Bill is done, I have my own questions for this lady.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if you're there anyway, but it's okay. Anyway, so you need ivory and you need gems, and she's you kind of describe what you're needing, and you need to find somebody to make this for you, and she sells you a piece of ivory and a bunch of gems worth in total 1,000 gold pieces. And if you can find somebody who's going to do the work, the total thing would be worth the 1,500.
Okay, so that's 2,500 so far. 2,550 because
2,550
worth of quicksilver. Does she have Wait, there was no intricate rod, right? Like I didn't get the persuasion on that one.
No, she has a rod that she's willing to sell you. She
The
just
crystal rod.
Yeah, the crystal rod.
Oh, that's for 1,700.
Yeah, that's the 1750.
1750. Okay, so where are we at right now? 3,000 and change. And then how about that do you have any life-size human dolls?
She gives you a really weird look and like a disgusted look, and the elves that are watching you kind of give you a weird look as well, and she's just like, no, I don't have any sex dolls.
They probably push you towards the door at that point.
Do you know anywhere where I could get some more Quicksilver and a doll of life size?
She just
Can I be there?
She just says no. What's up, Eloise?
Can I be there?
Sure.
Okay. Vale, why do you need a life-size doll? You make your own friends.
Yeah, because unfortunately, components are a thing in this world, and this great abilities that I could possibly have are nothing without any of the components. So I kind of need this shit.
Just out of character, like when you cast the spell, do you have to be holding hands with this life-size doll just for like visualization?
No, I need to put Quicksilver in its chest and touch it with the rod. Like,
oh, okay.
I'm just regretting this.
Multi-component. I see.
And slice yourself to drip your own blood into it.
Yep. Yep. All right.
We do have two guys that are proficient in disguise kits and stuff like that, so Apollyon and Blood could make you your sex doll.
Yeah, you can get a human-sized doll fairly quickly. Just having something made.
Not the main thing I'm concerned about. It's the other components I need to make the other thing. But you know what? Like,
well, that's also on the player for looking at the components when you pick out the spell and realizing how difficult it will be to compile all these components.
Once we get out of the forest, we'll be able to find, especially in the port city, the one
Valena?
we came into. Yeah, I mean,
Venuis?
Yes, Venuis. He described that as being a huge trade hub, very opulent. Guarantee we're going to be able to find what you need there.
Probably.
You just weren't able to do this spell at that time, so you didn't choose it. And so, but yeah, so if you can wait, we will get your.
Well, we'll produce him some dead.
Hey,
He'll
he's
have
still
to do
got
the
the hole.
bit.
We can try and hide him in the hole. Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
Hey, you guys do whatever you do.
We know you need bodies. We'll get to it.
Okay.
I think
Well, Eloise, you said you wanted to be there at the component shop. Were you wanting to buy something? What were you wanting to buy?
Please, I was wondering if you had any diamonds, because I kind of keep my friends from, getting dead or staying dead or being hurt, and I need diamonds to be able to do that. Do you have any diamonds?
Make a persuasion check. I do have a few diamonds. Let me see what I can find in the shop.
19.
19 isn't bad. We're gonna say that you can. She has a total of 500 gold worth of diamonds.
Ooh, okay.
Are you wanting to buy all of them?
Would I be able to use them for... Hang on. So, would they work for... Wait, is this one? No, that's the 300 gold
Revivify?
one. Revivify is the 300 gold one.
Uh-huh.
Greater Restoration... No, that's the 100 gold one.
Yes.
Wait, where's my 500 gold one? 500, yeah.
Do you have a 500 gold spell?
Resurrection?
Oh, yeah! That's the one. Pretty sure.
I helped.
Hang on. You did! No, that's the 1,000 gold one. Plus the 500 one. And that's a 7th level spell. I do have that. That's the one 7th level spell I do have. Whoa. What's the 500 gold one? I'm losing my mind.
Is it possible to buy potions, Matt?
There is a potion shop here in town. It's not at the component place, but yes, you could.
Cool.
Okay, well, until I figure out what the hell the 500 gold one is, also, do you happen to have, I know this is kind of out there, so I totally understand if, or maybe you can make this thing. It's just like a gem-encrusted container of some sort. A bowl, a chalice, just a gem-encrusted container.
Oh, you're talking about Hero's Feast, aren't you?
Mhm.
That one's a tough order. That's a bit more of a rare one. Roll me a D100. We'll see if she has it in her
What
shop.
if we bought the gems and put them on a bowl?
Do
I've
you
got
have
a
the
hot
skill?
glue gun.
If you have the skill to make it,
Fuck.
85.
Oh.
yes, they do have one bowl.
I have proficient in land vehicles and leather workers tools. Does that help?
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Worker.
That definitely helps make a gem encrusted bowl.
Is
Of
that
course,
what you
Apollyon
do
is-
with ball
You
gags?
can also
What is
smash
that?
it.
That's the thing,
You could
of course
smash it.
Apollyon is good with leather. Jesus Christ.
You could smash it.
That's perfect.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay, cool. So that, and once I figure out what the... Well, I mean, yeah, I'll take the diamonds too, because they'll come in handy. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how much does the bowl cost?
Grand.
I need it to be at least 1,000 gold.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna ride that 19 persuasion and say that they're gonna sell that one at cost.
Thank you so much. You're so nice. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Tilia Swanson. Why not?
Oh, you have a pretty name. Have you had this shop long? It's so nice.
I could tell this one.
Oh, I've been here for the better part of 500 years, dear.
Oh, you must have seen so much cool stuff.
Oh, I've seen a lot of things in my time, but this is the first time I've had a drow in my shop.
Yeah, he's funny, isn't he?
And she just has one of those puckered at both ends kind of looks on her face. You needing anything else besides the 500 gold worth of diamonds and a 1,000 gold gem-crusted bowl?
I guess we're going to check out that potion shop.
Okay. There is a potion shop as well. Yeah? Okay. There is an herbalist shop that does sell a limited supply of potions. Most of what they have is healing or lesser restoration type of things.
Any
But yeah,
quicksilver by any chance?
how many do you have superiors? Healers. Superior healing?
Yeah, let me pull up real quick, see what they got.
Aye.
What were you saying, Vale?
Any quicksilver at the shop?
Quicksilver. Roll me a D100.
18.
Oh no.
God. Why can't you roll well?
That's a negative.
Well, God. See, now I feel bad because you... we're going to say that they have... Let's see. We're going to say they have 250 gold worth of Quicksilver that you could buy.
Alright. I'll take it off my inventory.
As for the Alchemist, they have... they only have 2 potions of superior healing. They have 4 potions of greater healing. And they have half a dozen potions of lesser healing.
I'll take 2 superior, 2 greater, please.
Okay. let's see here. Superior, you said you wanted superiors. Superiors are hella expensive, dude. They're worth 6,000 gold each.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn. I will take 4 greater.
The greater are 1250 each.
1250 each. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
It's better.
Yeah, I'll take 3 greater. That
3
sounds
greater?
better. Yeah.
Okay.
And what are those? 44 plus 4?
Yeah, 44 plus 4. The lesser healing potions that she has 6 of, those she's selling for 100 each. But the greater are on sale. She's trying to get rid of them before they spoil.
Sure. Oh, they spoil? How long do I have to use them?
You have probably like a year or more.
Oh, okay.
You're fine.
Elven time, they're about to spoil. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Wait, how much are the greater?
1250.
Yeah, 1250.
I'll take one.
Okay, so you can take one as well.
Do they have any potions of speed?
They do not have a potion of speed. They do have a potion of invulnerability.
How much is that?
Of course, I have to go through 2 different apps.
Ooh.
Okay, I don't think I have a spell for 500 gold that needs 500 gold diamonds.
4,000 gold.
Because that potion could be pretty fucking epic if we give it to Apollyon. Because that essentially just makes him like isn't it immune to damage for like a short period of time?
For 1 minute after you drink this potion, you have resistance to all damage.
All damage. Well, he'd already have, I guess.
I already have resistance towards
physical damage. Yeah. No. We'll wait on
But
that.
it is all damage.
Yeah. I know. But he's already got some of it. I'd only really be paying for half of it, essentially. Nah, we'll let it go. I mean, I've got plenty of healing potions and shit on my thing from before, so I don't need to buy any.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else they want to do in the Elven town?
Not really. I've been talking to the guy about what it means to have these new abilities, and I go outside and I slice my hand with my longsword, taking 5 necrotic damage. I'm just using the hex just because it's a d6.
Okay.
And that turns my longsword into it gets encrusted over with like ice and frost and stuff like that. It's now until I take a rest imbued with frost abilities.
Ooh.
Yep, just fun new stuff I can do now.
Following
Ooh,
Eloise.
nice.
Yeah, following Eloise on the ice path, huh?
It seemed to make sense. Not many people are resistant to ice. Who knows? And so
Okay.
Matt creates a bunch of creatures that are totally resistant to ice.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Ice golems or something.
Ice golems,
Fine.
definitely.
Gotcha.
Hey, then Vale would have all of his all the ice and snow he needs.
Yeah, I'm thanking Eloise's breath for that.
Eloise's breath.
I can make you ice and snow. Don't you worry about it.
Oh,
baby.
that's true. That is true.
Are there any? I'm assuming those are pretty much the stores that would have the things we would need in this town, or things I would need.
Yeah,
There's no
pretty
other-
much.
Okay.
Between the both of us being able to cast ice storms and me cone of cold, I think we can get ice no problem and snow.
Probably. It'd take you a little bit of time, but you could gather up the ice and snow between the two of you.
Yep.
Well, after you're done doing the shopping, the elves kind of come up and collect you. The Buried Doer collect you once again and lead you to where the delegation is setting up down on the forest floor.
Can't believe Blood didn't tell us anything about his brother.
He didn't get
What
chance.
a sneaky little rogue, man.
Don't bring it up.
Whoa, I can reverse gravity now. I forgot. Holy shit.
God, that's
Yeah.
terrifying for Eloise. Anyway, the Conclave and the elves, the Buried Doer, who are leading you farther into the forest, have all gathered up. The horses are all ready. Your horses are there with the Conclave, and Ohm is actually sitting in a wagon. And as your group approaches, he does call out to you, Liam. Liam, come on and join me up here. We can talk as we're riding.
Yeah, quick sprint. I got called forward by Ohm. I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Get fast.
But the rest of you are able to get on your
I got this,
horses.
Jimmy. Where did Liam go?
Vale, you've been riding in a wagon, reading a book this whole time. Are you continuing to sit in the wagon, or are you going to get on one of the horses?
No, I'm not going to get on a horse. I'm going to stay right in this wagon.
Fair enough. So you could probably climb in the back of the wagon that Ohm and Liam are sitting in. But as you approach, Blood, you do spot a group of soldiers standing at attention near one side of the convoy, and you do spot the hoods up, the cloaks about them, but you definitely notice the muzzle that is your brother, Alnad, or Two Rivers.
Hell, I guess how close is Eloise to him?
At the moment, Eloise, where are you going to be? Are you climbing up on a horse? Are you riding in a wagon?
We were all walking towards, and then Liam disappeared as she was telling him about this cool gem-encrusted bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if she's
I'm gonna-
close by, he's gonna quick walk up behind her and kind of grab her by her arm, and then just lean into her ear, and he's like, "He goes, Miss Eloise."
Oh, hey,
I'm in.
Blood, did you see this cool bowl I got?
I did. It's very pretty, but I need to talk to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You might see somebody very soon that you've seen once before in a potion shop in Port Valena. I
Millie's
need
here?
you. No. A certain white furred individual.
Wait.
And it's just he's gonna just put his hand instinctively over her mouth. He goes, "My brother." And he goes, "He is alive, and he is standing right over there. But I need you to just hold back on all of that little Eloise excitement, and do not scream out his name. Don't even acknowledge him if you see him. I will explain everything later."
I'm gonna look around. Do I see him?
Make a perception check.
You don't see any of the Buriador.
She's got no. They're standing out in the open. She's got pretty good perception. So yeah,
27.
Oh, you definitely spot the white furred Tabaxi, and he's standing next to the elf that you. Sorry.
The bald one.
Oh, the one I was chatting with?
Yeah, the bald elf that had told you about the ritual and how it works. He's standing next to the white furred Tabaxi that's near the end of the line of Buried Doer.
Like,
I'm gonna wave at the bald elf and smile. And then I'm gonna notice the white furred Tabaxi and be like, "Hey, asshole, who threw me off the ship?"
Miss Eloise, stop. I promise I will explain everything, but please, right now, you have to stop.
I feel like we need to make initiative checks to see whether or not Blood is able to clamp down Eloise's mouth before she screams out about being thrown off a boat.
Now, he did say I was squeezing her mouth before that. But yeah.
But it's Eloise.
Oh god damn it.
Okay, but in order to beat you, I have to roll a 14 or more.
He gave you the best chance.
The tiebreaker, you need a 15 at least.
Yeah, you need a 15.
Why would I need a 15?
Because of the tiebreaker.
Oh, yeah. Okay, 15 or more. Oh, shit. Fuck. Alright.
Shit!
Everyone.
The dice has spoken.
All eyes are on Eloise as she just screams out. That's the guy that threw me off a boat and is pointing directly at Blood from a Stone's brother.
No, I don't say that's the guy who threw me off a boat. I say, hey, you're the asshole who threw me off a ship.
Oh, hey, you're the asshole. Well, yeah, but you still yelled this. Yeah, you just...
Yeah,
okay, fine.
Absolutely.
Fine. But you still yelled this across the way, and every eye turns and looks at you. And then every eye turns and looks back in the direction that she's pointing. And the Tabaxi is gone.
Oh my god, okay.
What the?
And you see the bald-headed elf, look...
She's mistaken.
Look around and is like, what the fuck?
Sleight of fancy. She's very excitable, everybody. I apologize.
You know what?
You need to make
Eloise out in the open.
You really need to make a persuasion check. A really, really good persuasion check right now.
Oh, God. Yeah, he was trying to warn her because it would have been so much worse.
Yeah, well, he still did it out in the open.
Yes! 23!
Holding Eloise's head, basically, Blood's like, she's confused, she has no idea what the hell's going on. I'm sorry about this, everybody. And I imagine Eloise, you're just kind of like squeaking and huffing underneath his arms at this point.
He's kind of whispering.
Did I imagine him? I thought
Miss Eloise? No, you didn't, Miss Eloise. I promise I will tell you later. I need you to stop.
Looks over at you, Liam, and he's like, "What is your friend yelling about over there?" And he's looking back
honestly,
at
she's rather opinionated, and if she sees something, she says it. I mean, it's to the benefit to the group, and we've never been surprised by anything that she's seen, ever.
Thank God Blood's not nearby, because he'd just be like, the fuck? He's like, really?
Yeah,
she hasn't caused us problems before?
It's not how Liam sees it.
Yeah. But he would, yeah, if Blood can, one word, he's like, use Miss Eloise, this is life and death. I need you to be quiet. I promise I will explain, but please, stop.
Okay.
Really? Seriously, that's
I just walk over to the cart that Liam's in.
He's just gonna be hanging his head down, just like, and just head in hand. It's just like,
Like, dude, if you hadn't said anything,
you know,
she would have noticed.
He would have had to know if Blood's seeing the muzzle. She would have seen the muzzle. Because your fucking passive is probably what? Is it a 20 now or 21? Yeah. So her passive, she would have fucking seen something. You know, you would have done that math. You are Dawson.
I guess we'll never know.
So
we'll never know.
If your player's being afraid of what you might do is a sign of a good DM, Matt, you're killing it.
Yeah.
His Blood's just gonna kind of like walk up, and he'll do kind of like just a little gesture out as like a hand gesture that, you know, if he's watching, that he's seen it, he's like, dude, I'm sorry, and just kind of give a click and a whistle and just walk on his way. Just kind of like a, goddamn, dude, see what I mean? Essentially, he does a whole conversation of, do you see what I meant about she's fucking excitable?
Mm-hmm. As you're climbing up onto the wagon, Eloise, you see Ambrosia Sr. Riding his horse up, and he leans in and is like, what is with your people? And Ohm looks at him and says, I'm going to have a talk with them. I do apologize for this disruption. They had a long night last night. They were all what they went through was quite a lot. I'm going to have a talk.
Wearing his hat?
No, I lost my hat a while ago.
I thought you had a big flowery hat.
Yeah, I lost that in the arena.
Oh, okay. But
playing with his dreads.
Okay, you start playing with his dreads as the convoy takes off and begins riding out into the woods once again. Ohm begins to lecture you, Eloise, about the fact that, you know, you're guests of this area, you're supposed to be on your best behavior. Yelling and making a scene early in the morning is not the best way to make friends.
Is the afternoon early in the morning here?
Fine, afternoon, whatever.
Yeah, it was.
Middle of the afternoon, then. My mistake.
We did debate shopping for a long time here.
That's true. That's true. He's like, what exactly were you yelling about anyway? What was all that commotion?
And I just look at Liam. Have I done anything rude? I haven't done anything rude. I even told that lady Tilia at her shop how nice her shop was.
Master Ohm is just curious as to what the commotion was caused by. That's all.
Well, it's not I saw the jerk. You remember the one that I went to go meet on that ship in Port Valena? I thought I saw him, and he threw me off the ship into the water, and he didn't even ask me if I could swim beforehand, which is very rude. And so I just wanted to call him out on being an asshole. But I guess I was wrong. I thought it was him. I don't know.
There you have it, Tom. Just an improper asshole calling out, that's all.
Well, maybe it's a better time to call out assholes when there's not a bunch of people watching.
Yeah, but then how do you shame them into, you know, better behavior?
Well, is the time and place to shame somebody when we're on an important mission?
I mean, we're not there yet.
And I imagine this conversation goes back and forth for a while.
Yep.
Probably. But it's a 2-day journey from...
Oh my god, we're 2 days away and he's complaining?
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to get you used to the cadence and expectations of this trip.
And the best part is she's technically not a conclave member, so his rebuking only goes so far.
Right.
But it is also Master
I have as a personality trait, I'm oblivious to etiquette and social expectations.
Oh, absolutely.
It's literally my personality trait.
I mean, like, if I could, high five. Like, right there.
But we're going to skip ahead because the next 2 days, other than an opportunity after you make your campsite, 2 does attempt to contact you again, Blood, but during that time, he's definitely not going to do so anywhere within Eloise's eyesight.
Oh, yeah. I figured while they're traveling, Blood might, like, hang out with, like, the Barriador if they would have let him, and, like, travel along with these guys and, like, you know, talk shop with them, just kind of, like, you know, just discuss, you know, how, you know, ranger shit and stuff like that with him. So he wouldn't be with the group per se. He's gonna be a little bit away. So yeah, somebody could probably
rangers as like expert loiterers. You know, they hang out. They're always hidden. They never really do much.
This is true. But you can.
Liam?
What's up?
Want to fly for a little bit of the journey?
That depends if, I mean, after I finish whatever questioning Ohm has, yeah, I'd be happy to fly, sure.
Yeah, he does interview you during that first day of traveling after trying to and failing to admonish Eloise. He does definitely sit there and like ask you about your experiences and what all you happened during the ritual, and he probably takes down notes from both you and Eloise and Veil if Veil chimes in during that time at all. But other than that, and other than some moments stolen away where Blood you can talk to your brother, the next 2 days go by relatively uncomplicated, unless you try to make it complicated.
So, what are you trying to do here? Is it just you and me flying, or is it a group of us flying? What is your intention?
No. So once the interviewing of Liam seems to like have petered off into like just small talk.
Sure.
And I'm just gonna be like, "Are you bored? I'm bored." And then I'm gonna wild shape into a giant owl or eagle, giant eagle, and then I'm gonna scoop Liam up and take off.
Awesome. I'm just imagining Peter playing like lyrics. I can fly. I can fly.
Think of a wonderful thought, any happy little thought.
But you don't even need fairy dust. It's magical.
Yep, that's what happens.
I figure while we're in camp, Liam would probably get a little song going. Tooraloo-ra-loo-ra. Tooraloo-ra-la. So, Blood, tell us a little bit about your sconces outside of the party with your bro. What do you do? How do you reminisce? What do Tabaxi do to catch back up?
I mean, it's not like they're kicking back with a couple of brewskis. I think it would just be they'd talk more about what has been going on the last few years, and he would get probably as much information about this group that his brother is in as he can, and learn more about the ruins and the end of the world Titan. So he's just kind of trying to pick his brain, I guess, as quietly and safely as they can. If there's other people around, they wouldn't. But it's not. I guess it's not uncommon for these people to see a couple of Tabaxi maybe together. Well, I guess if anybody's really looking, but he's gonna have his hood up and shit, I guess. So.
Well, anytime you were to meet up with your brother, it would be in the dark at night, away from everybody else. Eloise definitely spooked him, and would prefer not to be killed by his own comrades because of her. So,
Blood would explain. He's like, dude, I tried to warn her. I told you she's very unique and excitable. Well, yeah, she remembered you throwing her off the ship, and I guess I couldn't get my hand over her mouth quick enough.
Yeah, that one is definitely a Spitfire. I'm gonna stay clear of them.
Because she actually spits ice.
I would until we maybe can get a more private arrangement where I can maybe get her. I mean, maybe I'll have to tie her mouth shut. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If we can, so they can find out what's going on.
I'd like to try and hear some of Blood's secret conversations, because as a new tiger lichen, I have heightened senses. I gained advantage on perception checks that deal with smell and sound.
Okay, so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to roll a stealth check to get close enough to hear the conversation. You're doing a stealth check against Blood's passive perception.
Okay.
Because during these conversations.
Sure, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not that decent, though.
No, that's not going to do it.
So, Blood would spot you trying to sneak closer to hear it. But I will allow you to make your perception check anyway to see if you could have picked up anything before he spotted you.
All right. I appreciate the second-hand like perception check. 22, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got you got the individual scent that he's talking to, and you definitely have picked up that he is secretly meeting with somebody that wears one of those elven cloaks. But you did not get close enough to get a good look at his face.
Can I smell the new smell?
Yes, I did say that you did pick up his scent.
I picked up his scent. I'm weird now. I love it.
You're a bloodhound.
Yeah, I'll go back to the carriage. That's all.
We're going to go ahead and end things for this evening. We will be back. We have one more episode before the end of the year of the Fab 5, and we're going to start the game out at going into the Cursed Lands. So we're going to say that you spent those last 2 days of travel. We're going to be skipping ahead to that. So thank you to everyone who watched this evening. I very much appreciate you tuning in. Join us again next Monday when we find out what happens when the Fab Five try to enter the Cursed Lands and see whatever this Titan is that's underneath.
I'm sure we'll avoid all troubles.
Oh, definitely. So, on behalf of everybody here, I just want to say once again, thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and we will see you next week. Have a good night.
Peace.